Happy Football Sunday, everyone. What is up? It's early, it's cold, the sun's coming out, but I just had some hot chocolate and I'm ready to tackle this thing for the final time. This is where we left off yesterday, and I think this is a solid lineup. I can picture it getting between 170 and 182, but I think it might be too running back heavy for the. This might be the first time I said that all year. So I think the Gurley. I think the play here could be Dion Lewis, but I'm also torn because also in the same bracket you have Chris Carson, who I think is not going to play, but that just means that his counterparts Mike Davis is going to play. Like, they don't know until an hour and a half before the kickoff. It's a 4:25 Eastern game, so around 2:55 Eastern, they'll know. But if you roster Chris Carson, you can always downgrade it to Mike Davis. But here's why I think Dion Lewis is a play. Let's go Dion Lewis. Of course, he's been the main back. He was the main back last week. In that Chargers game, I think Derrick Henry still had like 16 touches. But last week, Derrick Henry had 6 touches, and I think that has to do with Matt LaFleur. Now, Matt LaFleur is the Titans' offensive coordinator. He also basically studied under Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. As you may recall, he was with the Rams last year, and he helped turn around Jared Goff. He was actually a big reason about Jared Goff's transcendence, his transformation. And he helped Matt Ryan, I think, in his MVP year in 2016. And so I think it was probably his idea that he needed Dion Lewis to be the full-time back. Dion Lewis, he's not as good as Todd Gurley, but he's basically Matt LaFleur's poor man Todd Gurley. And he's going to give him the ball through the air and the ground. And facing his former team, the Patriots, their defensive numbers look very similar to the Rams. So I don't know if this is zoomed in enough, if you guys can see this. But there's only been 2 weeks out of the 9 that the Patriots have actually stopped the run, and that was against the Bears and Bills. And in that Bears game, Jordan Howard, he really had gone untracked this year. He hasn't been so great up to that game, and the Patriots were ahead in that game, so they had to throw. But plus, Trubisky had like 81 rushing yards as well. And the Bills, they're the Bills. I'm not sure what they're doing, but when they probably just stacked the box on McCoy when you have Peterman as your quarterback. But even last week, so they give up an average of 4.36 to the run and an average of 9.48 against the pass. And even Matthew Berry has mentioned that the Patriots are the 5th worst team this year, giving up receptions to the running back. I'm not sure where the Rams fall in that, but let's go to the Rams. Let's go to their weeks. Now, the Rams can give it up to the running back, 4.65. Like a third of a yard more than the Patriots. But the Rams kind of hone in on the running back a little bit, too. They don't give up as many receptions as the Patriots do. And watching the Rams every week, they definitely adjust. So the running back may get a big gain or two in the beginning, but after that, the Rams defense pretty much locks them in. So I'm kind of uneasy about this call, but I think Dion Lewis is a play here, which frees up so much money. So the next thing I think we can keep Fitzpatrick, Kamara, and Hunt. Man, I really, really hope the Cardinals stay in this game for at least 3 quarters here. But Maurice Harris, I was ready to upgrade yesterday, but now I'm pretty sure Jameson Crowder is not going to play. And if Jameson Crowder isn't going to play, Maurice Harris is a lock. There's no one else to throw to. He's still going to be in the slots. Alex Smith is going to be running for his life. He's got 3 offensive linemen hurt. And he's got to throw it quick. It's going to be like the Fitzpatrick Buccaneers game last week where the Panthers just blitzed every single time, it seemed like. And Humphries was the short receiver to catch everything. Humphries, he's not going to have a 28-point game. If he's got a 14-point game like he did against the Bengals, that's a huge win. I imagine somewhere between 10 and 11, but anything other is great. And then Valdez-Scantling I really, really like, but we can upgrade. And this might bite me in the end. But Tyler Boyd being the only receiver there, if A.J. Green was playing today, I would lock in Tyler Boyd. That would be my first lock across the board. But without A.J. Green, do you really think they're going to just have Marshawn Lattimore be on Erickson or John Ross? I feel like Eli Apple will be on John Ross, which will free up Marshawn Lattimore. And I really think Lattimore's going to be on Boyd all day. If he's not, then maybe the Saints just have a big ego on them. But let's go back to this Falcons game. When the Falcons play the Saints, Week 3, the Saints defense wasn't as good as they are now, as you can see. But I think Marshawn Lattimore was on Julio, and Julio lines up in the slot a lot, actually. He lines up all over the place. He doesn't stay in one area of the field. So I think they locked in Marshawn Lattimore, which caused Calvin Ridley to have his 146-yard day, 3 touchdowns, and whatnot. They didn't have Eli Apple, so they must have had P.J. Williams on Ridley. And so I think being the only receiver, Lattimore's going to get Boyd. Or Eli Apple. They're not going to stick P.J. Williams on Boyd, at least not all game. So I think Boyd is super chalky, which is great for cash. But I think Keenan Allen will have a better game. Michael Thomas is in line for a better game. That Bengals secondary is so banged up right now. But I think the play, even if Denzel Ward is playing, I think the safest option is Julio Jones. Denzel Ward's got a really bad hip. He only played 8 snaps last week. He was limited practice Thursday, Friday. I personally don't think he plays. I don't think they're gonna risk their number 3 pick or number 4 pick, whatever they had, to play. And I mean, this game for the Browns. The Browns are trying to win next year and the year after, not this year. But even if he does play, he's got a bad hip. Julio Jones is going to turn him around so much that he may not be able to stay in the game. So I think Julio's a play. I think Sark, their offensive coordinator, I think in his contract states that he must target, that Matt Ryan must throw to Julio Jones at least 10 times. Or there's going to be like a public outcry here in Atlanta. I don't know if he's going to score a touchdown this week. He may have 2. I could picture, I'm not going to guarantee anything, but I can picture Julio Jones has 1 or 2 big games a year. I'd argue that he could have a 250 receiving 3 touchdown game today. I think he might go off. I think the game's close enough that he's got to stay in there all game. I think he's going to feed him the ball. So let's lock in Julio. So next is defense. I don't like paying up for defense at all. Plan for it. If it happens, it happens. You can get away with the cheap defense here. I think the Seahawks had 7. At least 4. But look, it lines with the Jets and Chargers. Now, Matt Barkley's starting for the Bills, so it's not Nathan Peterman. And Barkley's prone to interceptions, but he usually has some good games under his belt starting off for the team. The Chargers, they had 11 last time against Oakland, but that's when Oakland was a little bad. Oakland, I think, is giving up. And they have 10 interceptions. I think Derek Carr throws 3 today, get 4 or 5 sacks. I think they're in line for a huge, huge day. But it's not a guarantee. They could have 3 points as well. But it's not going to hurt us because I think the rest of the team is set. And I think with Fitzpatrick, could be in line for 30. Kamara and Hunt, they say they have 30 points each, is 90. I think Harris and Humphries between them can get 30. We should be post at 120. I think Julio Jones is good for 25. So it's 145. Nick Vannett maybe 10, 155. Deion Lewis, I think his floor is about 20. So that puts at 175. Chargers get between 10 and 15. So I think we're looking at 185 plus with this lineup. There's a lot more ifs this week. Like, I don't think Humphries, he may put up a 0. He might put up 5. I think he's the go-to guy. Because Mike Evans really has a tough matchup. But Deshaun Jackson, he's going to come alive today. So, and Chris Godwin, he's been silent, so he may have his game, and Humphries might be, staying on the bench. But I think I'm going to take this chance at this lineup. However, my alternative lineup, there's a lot of receivers to play here. I think people may go this route. I would love to try to fit in. First, Scantling. He's gonna have he could potentially have a big game. But I think Josh Gordon. I think if you go down to the Seahawks, I think this is what everyone's gonna play. It opens up for Boyd. Like, if Boyd has a 40-point game, we might be a little bit screwed unless Julio can replicate it. So I think people may go like this, but I think instead of Hunt, I think people are too scared about it being a blowout, even though if the Chiefs take a 35-0 lead in the first half, someone's got to score those 5 touchdowns. How come Hunt can't get 3 of them, or at least 2 of them, or maybe 1? Hunt may have 25 points by halftime. That might be enough. So I think people are discounting that. Even Marlon Mack, I think, might be a good GPP play. The Jaguars not so great against the run. I'm hoping Deion Lewis has like a 31, 34-point game today. But I think they're going to go with Tevin Coleman. And I think they're going to go with Duke Johnson. This is what people wouldn't play. And Maurice Harris could stay. They might go with, you might see like something like this. Very, very, very light. And probably different defense. Probably 200, something like that. Well, actually, everyone's going to play the Jets, I think. So Julio won't work. I feel like you're going to see this with probably Matt Ryan at quarterback. Or Drew Brees. Brees or Ryan, but I think you're going to see this from other teams. So still good. Let's see. I'm going to add this up in my head real quick. 95, 17, 42. You probably won't have in that, but this potentially can go for 190. But the problem I see with this, Tevin Coleman had a career high last week. Not saying he's going to not replicate this, but I got Ito Smith right behind him. And yeah, the Browns defense is that bad, though. Duke Johnson. It looks great on paper, but history is telling me that one of these guys may put up a dud. And if Boyd puts up a dud, Keenan Allen doesn't get thrown to a lot of holes in every single lineup. So I think we're going to go back. Oops. I don't know how to get this on the way. Okay, sorry. So I think we're going to go back to our lineup. I really like Julio here. Yep. That's Humphries. So there's so many combinations this week. In other weeks, well, actually, every week has a lot of combinations. Not one way is the right way. But I keep an eye on the Seahawks running back situation if you don't feel like Deion Lewis is going to do anything today. So we're going to go with this. I think the Chargers defense is underrated. And what do I have missing? Oh, yeah. So, Fitzpatrick. So I'm going to go with Fitzpatrick, Kamara, Hunt, Maurice Harris, Adam Humphries, Julio Jones, Vinette, Deion Lewis, and Chargers as of 7:14 Eastern Time on Sunday. And, yeah, I mean, every week is tough. But if you want to go Scantling and Gordon or Cooper Kupp, I get it. If you want, that might be safer. But I think Maurice Harris will go off again. Adam Humphries will have a good day. Julio Jones will go off. But even if they don't, I think they have a safe enough floor that it'll at least get up to 150. This week might be a higher scoring week, so 150 may not crack it. I think it's going to be 160, 165 will be the cutoff point in cash, and this clearly does. I think this will hit, like last week hit 185. This week may hit 185 or better. So, yeah, that'll do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing, hitting that like button, whatever other YouTubers tell you to do that. I'll be around for a while, but I'll probably will not be around until 1 hour before kickoff, so please leave a comment if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them, and good luck, everyone.